Sorry. I just moved it back a little. Okay, we're back.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hollywood Persona Podcast with Ant, myself, and Mitch. Mitch, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Round two.
Yeah, I had a costume. I had my ghost face on.
Oh yeah,
but that's in the Lost episode.
yeah. That was organic, so we can't just recreate it.
Yeah,
We had a technical issue on my end, so we recorded for like 5 minutes and restarted. That's okay. That was a good practice run. So now I know what I need to say exactly. So this is episode 75, and on this episode, we're doing something we haven't done in a little while, where we've each seen 3 movies that we're not going to talk about together. Well, yeah, you'll see. So we're going to review Venom: The Last Dance, which is currently in theaters. I'm going to review that. Conclave, which is in theaters. And then It's What's Inside, which Mitch talked about a little bit last week, but I have now seen it. And since it's widely available on Netflix, we thought it would be good to talk about twice, 1.5 times, because you can go watch it now.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Mitch is going to mention Don't Move, which is streaming now. I think, is that an HBO movie, Mitch?
Don't Move.
Or was it Netflix?
It's Netflix.
Okay, so Don't Move, which is one I was curious about. Woman of the Hour, which is that Anna Kendrick directed, based on a true story movie. And then a documentary called Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
Yes.
And we're going to cover the Gotham Awards. Or I want to mention just a couple of things, and then I just want to mention a couple of things from the box office.
Okay.
What about you? What were you going to say?
This is what I was going to say. First of all, how's the leg? We seem pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That was good. I just wanted to double check because I'm nervous now. Number 2, Armie Hammer is coming back to acting.
Interesting.
He just secured his first role in a movie, and he's been doing some like interviews and stuff. So I didn't think we'd see that happen.
So, I'm cool with that. I mean, I think as we've talked over the years, you probably know that I'm less bothered by people being canceled. I have I try hard to separate the art from the artist, so unless it's like rape or like murdering babies, I can still see them and maybe say, wow, that was a good performance, but they're personally a piece of shit. So
I have a really hard time still with Kevin Spacey, and it sucks because Seven, is one of my favorites, and blah blah blah. So
and Baby Driver, he's good in.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Like everyone has their own levels and their own people, and that's cool. But I liked him enough.
Yeah, it makes me think Call Me by Your Name a little creepier.
Yeah, that really sucks. that was him.
And then the Wayans brothers are coming back. Did you see that? For the first time in 20 years to do Scary Movie 6?
I'm excited for that. How about you?
Me too. I'm a big fan of the first 3. Like, I love those first 3. They're hilarious. Once they started to get into like epic movie and big movie and all this stuff, I was like,
date movie.
Yes, yeah. But
that is exciting. Just because there are hundreds now of horror movies they can parody, which we have probably seen.
Yeah.
And I guess I gotta be honest and say a lot of that's probably nostalgia because I saw those movies when I was 15 to 21 or something.
Yeah.
But still, there's every now and then on Twitter you'll see people like, how come they don't make parody movies? What happened to the parody movie?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Parody movies nowadays almost have to be on like another level where it's like, there's a word for it. Starts with an F, but like where you are basically it's a parody, but it's still a movie on its own. I can't remember.
I'm trying to think of any of the last ones. Like Weird Al Yankovic was a good one.
Yeah. See, things like that where it's like, I'll remember this word later.
Yeah, but yeah, like that one, is one that's like kind of. It was a parody.
Yeah.
It was like a Trojan horse parody. It came in as like a, hey, look at this. This is a documentary about Weird Al, and then it was like, no, none of this is true.
Never mind, we're kidding.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen this, I really have to read this for you. Have you heard about what Tarantino's saying about Joker 2?
I have, but please.
He loves it. The man loves Joker 2. He says, I really, really liked it, really a lot, like tremendously. You got to picture his voice. It's almost like Trumpish. And I went to see it expecting to be impressed by the filmmaking, but I thought it was going to be an arm's length intellectual exercise that ultimately I wouldn't think worked like a movie, but that I would appreciate for what it is. And I'm just nihilistic enough to kind of enjoy a movie that doesn't quite work as a movie, or that's like a big giant mess to some degree. So he said he was in an empty IMAX theater. He was able to laugh without bothering anyone. One of the best performances he's ever seen with Joaquin Phoenix. And he like went on. So this is the part that's hilarious.
Yeah.
The Joker directed the movie, is what he said. The entire concept, even him spending the studio's money, he's spending it like the Joker would spend it. All right, Tarantino said. And then his big surprise gift, haha, the Jack in the Box, when he offers you his hand for a handshake and you get a buzzer with 10,000 volts shooting you, is the comic book geeks. He's saying fuck you to all of them. He's saying fuck you to the movie audience, fuck you to Hollywood, fuck you to anybody who owns any stock at DC and Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd Phillips is the Joker. Un film de Joker, all right, is what it is. He is the Joker. There is so much to unpack in all of that. Like, we know Tarantino, he's a crazy guy, he loves feet, you know.
Yeah, and he's like a punk rock dude, and that sounds like I'm not surprised that came from him.
No, but like, he's calling the movie a mess, but he's saying he loves it. He's calling himself a nihilist. I hope that's how you say that word.
Yeah.
And okay, and yeah, so and he's dunking on Todd Phillips. I mean, but we got to remember, this is a guy who 2 years ago his favorite movie of the year was that Russell Crowe road rage movie.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Drive Angry, or was it Road something?
No, I'll look. That was his favorite?
That was his favorite movie, like the year that came out, and it's like just Russell Crowe driving, and it's a road rage movie, and he's like unhinged.
Yeah, and it was that was
movie.
it was like a comeback from COVID movie. I remember I drove to a theater because not all of them were open yet, and I'm sure it was like, oh, we'll just put this out. It's actually kind of a fun movie, but for that to be his favorite of the year, okay, come on.
I agree. Yeah, but anyways, I just wanted to. I don't know if you have any other thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I heard. So that take specifically, like Todd Phillips is the Joker. He's saying "F you" to the comic book fans and the studio. I've heard that take.
Saying that.
Yeah, I heard that take elsewhere. And I think it's kind of that part is true, which like reminds me, and I think we talked about this of the Lana Wachowski doing the Matrix Force. Basically, like if you're gonna make me do a sequel, then I'm gonna tear it all down, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, it's not my money that got burned up. So, like, I don't care that he did it. It's funny. It definitely is funny that Todd Phillips basically lit $200 million on fire. So, that's funny. It's really funny, but it's very expected from Tarantino,
It's just that man will just pop out of nowhere and make headlines, and then he'll disappear for 8 months.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he'll come out saying some wild and crazy thing. And I love him because what he's usually saying isn't hurting anyone.
Right.
He's just, and we know it's from him.
Yep.
Like when I hear it come from, someone I respect, I'd be like, oh dude, like settle down. But it's Tarantino. So
yeah.
Anyways, you have news.
Yeah, so I want to just touch on real quick the Gotham Awards. So these are the awards. These are kind of the awards that kick off award season. So when these nominations come, it's like kind of officially, unofficially, all right, we're into the award season. It has started, which is crazy to think about because a lot of these movies we won't be able to see until February, maybe all of them. But some interesting, like notable ones would be. For their best feature category, they have Anora, which I'll be seeing on Friday. Baby Girl, nice. Looking forward to that one. That's an A24 one. Challengers, which we reviewed on this podcast. Great movie. A Different Man, which was another like kind of shock here. That's, decent. And then Nickel Boys, another one I'm really looking forward to.
So when I first saw Nickel Boys, I thought it was a biopic on Nickelback.
That would be amazing.
I was a little excited. But the only one I've seen from that list is Challengers. I haven't
Yeah.
seen anything else. You've seen A Different Man and Challengers, so
Yes. And then, I'll see Nora, not tomorrow, but Friday. Cannot wait. So
maybe
excited.
it'll come to my area, but I'll look.
And then for international ones, these are ones we got to like look out for because they're going to. I need to say this too. These don't necessarily correlate to the Academy's Best Picture.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they get 4 of them. Sometimes there's 1 of them. Like the last 3 years, I think it went like that. 4 in 2020.
Whoa.
1
2, man.
in 2021 and 4 again in 2023. 4 out of the 5 that they nominate were some of the 10 in the Academy. So it's just like setting the stage, They're kind of like the Indie Spirit Awards where they're like
yes,
underground, not the mainstream, but a lot of times there's crossover. So
yeah.
I saw the TV Glows on here, which we both saw. Dahomey, which is a movie.
What one's that?
Dahomey. Have you ever heard of that one yet?
No, I haven't. Are these acting ones then?
That one specifically is documentary.
Oh, right. Okay.
The title of the movie is Dahomey. Yeah, and it's a movie. Movie.
Yeah, MUBI.
Yeah. And then let's see. I said Anora. I saw the TV Glow, Nickel Boys. But best screenplay. So Between the Temples. That's that Jewish movie I saw that I wasn't too crazy on.
Yeah.
But interesting enough that it's picked here. Evil Does Not Exist, which I've seen some of. His Three Daughters, which I know you loved and I really enjoyed. And then a movie called Janet Planet by A24. And I need to look that up because it sounds so familiar, but I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, I checked the chat before, and my friend Alex said he needs to catch up with His Three Daughters. Is it His Three? Yeah, His Three Daughters.
Yeah, His Three Daughters.
And it's on Netflix. You and I really haven't talked about it. Maybe we will a little closer.
Did we not?
No, I because you saw it in theaters, and then I saw it on Netflix, and then there was just some bigger stuff at the time. But I guess we can both just say we liked it. I liked it. I think
it's very good.
Than you. Yeah,
you did. You loved it. I really liked it.
Elizabeth, and then 3 amazing performances, and the writing is incredible. So,
and then I want to just rattle these off, and then we can move on. So this is outstanding lead performance. So this is best actor, best actress, but they do since 2020 or so they do gender neutral. So it's just men and women all in the same category. So here they are: Pam Anderson from The Last Showgirl.
Like Pamela Anderson?
Yeah, like boobs Pamela Anderson. I guess she has Roadside Attractions. She has one coming up. I think it's her wrestling with her being her,
Okay, yeah.
But so then we've got Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. That's top of my list next to Anora that I want to see as soon as possible.
Okay.
Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing. I am predicting this to be Best Actor nominated. Sing Sing, excellent movie, excellent performance.
Mm-hmm.
It's now available on video on demand. Hard Truths has someone from it. Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
A movie called Ghostlight.
Yeah.
Mikey Madison for Anora. And then Demi Moore for The Substance.
Yes.
I know, right? I mean,
yes.
that doesn't mean she's getting an Oscar nomination, but she could.
No, it helps a little.
And then
keeps her in the conversation. Exactly.
And then Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun. I remember mentioning that on here.
Yep.
Recently. Yep. She's good in it, but the movie's kind of a replay of
Run Lola Run.
No. Remember the alcoholic movie with what's her name?
To Leslie.
Yeah, To Leslie. Thank you. And then the last one is Justice Smith and I Saw the TV Glow, which was an interesting movie. I think you liked it more than I did. Yeah, that guy.
I did not like the I Saw the TV Glow at all. No, that's actually wrong. I'm thinking of Skinamarink, which I didn't like. I Saw the TV Glow is pretty good. I don't know who I'd recommend it to.
Yeah, I know it has its audience, and it's just not for me. But it was a cool idea.
Yeah.
I think I have the same as last week. Grape Lemon and Sour Straw.
Oh, Ant is talking to the live chat. If people were wondering, if you're in podcast land and you're not watching us live, you can watch us live on Twitch and YouTube, probably other places.
And then, all right. So before we get to movies, let me cover a couple of stories from the box office last week real quick.
Yes.
So Venom: The Last Dance which I'll review in just a moment, opened at number 1 with 51 million, which is fine. It kind of isn't great, but it did do really well overseas, outside the North American box office. So
Yeah.
it'll end up doing just fine. But the former two, Venom 2 and Venom the first one, opened way bigger, like closer to 100 million or more.
Yeah.
Smile 2 held on decently with only a 58% drop. So that raked in another almost 10 million.
Yeah.
And then The Wild Robot was in number 3 with 6.8. Conclave opened at number 4,
Wow.
which is okay for that movie. And then We Live in Time expanded and added a shitload of theaters by A24, and that's at 11, almost 12 million for its domestic run so far. And then Terrifier still in there. Terrifier, I saw an updated number for here, so it came in at number 6 last weekend. It's made 50 million. So
yeah, I saw that.
So I heard this stat too. So Joker Folie à Deux cost 200 million. Terrifier cost 2. So Joker 2 cost 100 times more to make, and Terrifier 3 is almost made as much as that one. So it just shows you like the total flip and upside down that those movies are.
Yep.
Which I think's great.
I want to know how much Joaquin and Lady Gaga got paid. Like, you know what I mean? Because I wonder how much of that 200 million is their budget.
It's a good chunk between Todd Phillips, Gaga, and Joaquin Phoenix, like 10 each or more, I would think.
That's what. So, I mean, and then you think, how much did David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, how much did he make? You know, and I'd rather go watch Art the Clown in 4 movies than I would Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga in. He should be getting the 10 million. Jesus.
I know. And maybe and hopefully, like after Terrifier 2 did so well, maybe they'll get numbers like points back end. Exactly. Say like, if this makes 50 million, then you'll get 1% of that or something,
Yeah, or you'll get a revenue off the toys or video or something, They always have these deals, or they used to do it a lot more where they have those kind of deals, but now people have gotten wise, because some people have made like millions and millions off of like saying, okay, that's fine, but like, once it's streaming, I get that revenue or something.
Right. Or like James Cameron could say, I'll take no money for payment, but I'll take 1%. And then the box office is 2.2 billion for Avatar 2. Yes, and then it's like, so there's 200 million going to him. Like, it's crazy.
That was exactly the story I was trying to think of in my head. So I really thank you for pulling that out of my brain. Because that was what I was trying to think of. And I think they were like, shit, now we got to pay this guy $200 million.
Yeah.
But yeah, so why don't you tell us about Venom 3?
Let's start with Venom 3, since it's in theaters and it's the number 1 at the box office. So I want to start by saying my feelings toward the previous Venom movies. I liked enough, 3 out of 5 star for the first one. Thinking the banter and fun, playful humor between Eddie Brock and Venom was the fun part of that first movie. The second movie, Let There Be Carnage, I didn't like very much. This movie I really don't like. This movie really sucks. It's really, really bad. I think if you go in with those kind of expectations, you might have like a good time with it, but the script is terrible. The characters are like paper thin on it. Like, no one is likable here, really. They give backstory that doesn't have payoff. The villain, oh my God, the villain. I don't know if he's in the trailer because I didn't watch it, but there's a villain that they were pretending is like a Thanos type. Oh shit, we got to worry about this character. We see that character for 90 seconds at the very beginning of the movie, 90 seconds at the end, and I don't think we see their face. Like the whole time they're sitting like this, like they're super serious and mad, just staring down, like we got to be scared of Null or whatever his name is.
I remember I saw a title that said it's a really big actor playing that character or something, but we don't
It's
know.
Either Andy Serkis or Henry Cavill.
Okay.
I didn't see it in the IMDb cast list, so
yeah.
But so the movie is directed by, it was the writer of the last two, Kelly Marcel, and so I'm like, sorry, girl, This was not the project to take as your directorial debut. She was given story credit on the last two, but okay, the story is that, here's the story. Venom and Eddie are on the run because of the events from the last movie, and there's a MacGuffin called the Codex Key.
Oh yeah, of course.
That for some reason, when Venom is in full form, these dog-like monsters that look like they're from the Eternals can literally travel at light speed to him to get him. Why that wasn't a problem in the last two movies, we will never know. And then that villain, Null, isn't the only villain. There is another villain from the last movie in this, and he gets no development. So this is a bad movie. And I talked to a friend of mine last night who one of our listeners that's watching live knows, a friend of mine named Wes. He went and saw it last night and asked me if I'd go with him. And I was like, man, I would, but I just can't go see this one again. And he got out and he was like, you were totally right. This was a piece of shit. I bet this was written by AI. None of it makes sense. So he's like he's a regular movie watcher and a fan of the first two.
See, I'm like a fan of like the first one kind of, because the Tom Hardy Venom thing, it was funny and new, and that kind of carried over to the second one a little bit, but not really. So if I don't know, if they're lacking that comedy or
like that's in here, there's traces of it, but it's like feels like it's slowly been less and less and less. And in the trailer you see this, Tom Hardy and Venom run into Mrs. Chan, who was like a one-off joke. She shouldn't have been kept for 3 movies, but they just happened to run into her while in Las Vegas. And remember what I just told you, where if he changes into full Venom, then these monsters can find him and immediately locate him.
Okay.
But Miss Chan wants to have one last dance, so they dance to Time After Time, which again is silly and slapstick and okay. But the stakes of the movie are, if you change into full Venom and dance with Mrs. Chan, then we will likely die and get her killed, because these dog creatures are ravenous and are hard to kill. But Venom's like, come on, Eddie, please. And so he changes, and they dance. When it's like, couldn't Eddie have just danced with her and not changed so that Venom could still get the enjoyment out of it? It just doesn't make sense. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. And
oh man,
Area 51 in the movie is being decommissioned, yet Area 55 which is underground below Area 51 is staying.
Oh, okay.
Really bizarre choices. I think the strikes, the actor strikes, had a lot to do with this, and actor and writer strike. So overall, I gave this movie 1 star. The fun action scenes are here, but there's not enough to make it worth watching. It is mercilessly only an hour and 30 minutes, 35 minutes. The credits are 10 minutes long. But they do that thing where you get post-credits and mid-credit scenes that we know we are never going to see again.
Okay.
So it's just there's just too many pieces that I'm one, Never Have I Ever, you take a finger down every time. I'm watching it in my head. I'm like, oh, this isn't good. Nope, that's bad. That's bad. There's not enough there.
And so Michelle Williams is just gone now. She's not in this one at all.
She's not mentioned. I don't even think he says, oh, I miss Anne, because that was her character name. But wow, that would have been great if she was, because she was a bright spot in that.
For sure.
In the first two. And
so do they do any type of trying to connect to Spider-Man? I don't need full spoilers.
Right. No, I know. I understand your question.
Because I think that's the question on everyone's mind, because there was that post-credit scene where he gets snapped or something by Thanos.
Right, and a little bit of his goo was left behind.
Yeah, and then it was so it would be in our MCU, but
it's okay. So something related to Spider-Man is mentioned, I think, at the very beginning-ish of the movie, early on, and then one of the post-credit scenes is it's actually a repeat of some goo getting left behind. It's not exactly that, but there is some goo that gets left behind, and something or someone stumbles upon it. So it's just a repeat.
That's actually going to be the name of my biography, is Some Goo Left Behind.
Mitch Burns, The Goo Left Behind. Yeah, so don't,
Okay.
wait till streaming. Like,
Yeah,
it
for
might be
sure.
fun if you were watching it with friends and were laughing at it, but damn, don't pay
Yeah.
for it. It's just not that great. Like, watch the first one again.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's Venom: The Last Dance. I give it 1 out of 5. Not good. It just
That's
sucks.
too bad.
It's just not. They didn't care that much. It didn't seem to care.
Well, I'm gonna talk about Woman of the Hour
Yeah,
with
tell us about this.
yeah, your dad's probably finished it now, so he can jump on and hear me talk about it because I know he was watching it.
Yeah, he was.
This stars Anna Kendrick, and she is also this is her directorial debut. It also stars Catherine Gallagher, Pete Holmes, Tony Hale, and the bad guy in this, serial killer in this, is played by Daniel Savato, who I don't know him from a lot. And hold on one second, my Chrome doesn't want to be
So
used.
I heard something that I think sounds good about this because I want to see this. I
Mm-hmm.
heard that this is cool because it doesn't necessarily focus on the killer this time.
Okay, so that's it's a good thing, but it also this movie
Ah,
has pacing issues.
okay.
So it because it's I'm stumbling over my words. It's through Anna Kendrick's eyes, her character. She is a down and out actress. She barely has gotten a job. We see her in auditions at the beginning, and she's just. They ask her at the end, "Okay, will you do nude scenes?" And she says no. And they're
Oh,
like,
that's
"Okay,
funny.
talk to
That's
you
funny
later."
that comes up, right?
Yeah,
Because I made a
yeah, I
comment
forgot
to
what
you
you're talking about.
privately about that.
Yes, and so it's 1979, um, and she gets an offer to be on the dating game, and she says, which I found, I looked it up, and she says Sally Fields was on the dating game, and she became big after that. So
Oh,
you
that's
never know.
interesting.
Yeah. So and she says, and now Sally Fields has an Oscar, so you never know. And so she goes on this episode of the dating game, and the whole while we get like moments, like 10 minutes of this guy, picking up a girl and then like taking her out into the desert to kill her,
So
or
that's spliced in with her
yeah,
acting? Okay.
yeah. So her story, and
And we're supposed to assume that these two will eventually meet, right?
yes, and I mean we know that because the basis of the story is she goes on, and it's a completely true story,
True
is what I
story,
should have
right?
said.
Yeah.
And she goes on the dating game, and one of the men that are sitting in the chairs, like the dating game is like she's here and there's a wall between. It's kind of like Love Is
Right.
Blind, like we have now. And then there's like
Yep.
three guys on the other side, and she asks them like, "If you were a bubblegum flavor, what would you be?" Kind of
Right,
thing, kind of
right.
stupid shit like that. And then
They can't
it's
see each
really
other, but the audience can see
yes,
both of them.
exactly. So the audience sitting in the crowd and at home, there's some interesting stuff there. Um, and yeah, so one of the three gentlemen happens to be this serial killer who has been killing since 77. It is now 1979.
And he'd killed a
Um,
whole bunch of people, right?
well, so he was I don't it's a true story, so but the end sequence where it tells you the true story, like what actually happened. Yeah, it says they say he could have killed up to 130. But
That's a lot of people.
that's a lot of fucking people. But again, uh, it tells you like how many people he actually like was tried for and what happened to
Yeah.
him and what happened to her and everything. So it's definitely interesting. It's just the like there's a scene with Anna Kendrick, and then it jumps to a scene of him, and we don't see Anna Kendrick again, which
Oh,
is which I found to be a very different choice for a film like this, to all of a sudden just like, because she's on the poster, she's the director,
yeah.
and
She's the name
yeah, she's the
as far
big
as
name. So,
getting people to watch.
but I think at first, like when it ended, I'm like, oh, okay, we didn't the last 25 minutes had no Anna Kendrick.
Interesting.
But I liked it, but the pacing was just definitely a little off. And she's, you know what? Anna Kendrick's just great. Like, she's just always solid in
Yep.
everything she's in. So I remember I think she got a Oscar. No, she was nominated for Up in the Air. That's one of my favorite
Yeah.
movies with George Clooney,
Yep.
and she got like an Oscar nomination, I think, for that. So like, I think because she's just so great. Like, she's just solid. Like, but I didn't get anything from her where I was like, give this, you know. And I wonder if we'll ever get that from Kendrick, if like get an Oscar nominated role. But maybe she'll
Yeah.
get
So
an Oscar for being great.
you're saying like as a director, it's fine, but it wasn't like, wow, what a talent director. She needs to keep
No,
directing.
I mean her performance,
Oh,
and
okay.
I guess I could say the same about her directing. It was good. I mean, it was fine. The pacing I found was a little off, but
Was there
I
would you
I
say
liked it.
I haven't seen the trailer. Would you say there's a style to the film? Like, were the colors matching? Did
Yes,
the outfits
well,
look cool?
because it's in the 70s, so it's really hard to tell, but she does a really good job of like making this, like, the sets, and like, I don't know
Okay.
how much she actually has to do with it, but the movie is really beautiful with the sets, and then you're splicing that with scenes in the desert and like Wyoming, where there's nothing happening, and he's trying to pick up girls in alleyways and stuff. Like, he's the kind of guy, like, he'll walk up to girls with like a camera and he'll like say, "Can I take your picture? You're like very
Mm-hmm.
beautiful." And he seems like maybe he could be a normal guy, but then you realize he isn't. But man, the ending, there's this girl, the ending and everything is just bonkers. And I've never felt for a woman so much in my life, and I've never, like, my heart, this woman does something to try to get away from this guy or get out of the situation that is so smart. And apparently
Huh.
it really happened, and it's just really, I was like, fuck, like, girl, like, why aren't there more girls like you in horror movies? Because that was so smart what you did. And like, I got goosebumps when it happened, like when the scene was going on. So definitely something I can tell you about later if you don't end up seeing this. But
Okay. Okay. That
it's pretty
sounds
good.
pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I gave it 3.5. Like, I would definitely recommend it to anyone. So
Okay.
especially family or anyone who likes true crime kind of stuff. It's
Yeah,
there's
like yeah. To me, this like
there's
really feels like it's made for the which is widely popular true crime podcast, NCIS,
yeah.
like people that
It's
follow
for
that
those
stuff.
people, because especially because it doesn't have like too much gore, or like I would let my mom watch this. She can't watch anything scary. She sometimes doesn't even really like thrillers, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is one where I'd be like, there'd be like one scene where I'm like, "Hey, mom, you might not want to watch this," but
Okay, okay,
that's
okay.
about it.
Cool, cool. That's
So
good. That's great. And that
yeah,
was on Netflix, right?
yes, Netflix. It was in theaters for a while, so
Damn.
I thought you saw it or were
No,
going to see it,
I don't
or
remember seeing this come through.
sorry, Don't Move was in theaters, I'm
Yeah,
thinking of.
that one I couldn't make.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. What
Okay.
about Conclave? I want to hear about this.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to tell you about this. So, Conclave, which has awards hopes for Ralph Fiennes, but I've always heard him called Ray Fiennes.
Yeah, My friend is gonna make fun of me if I don't figure it out. You keep going.
Yeah, I need to know this, but so yeah, Ralph Fiennes, who everyone listening knows who he is. He is the very handsome bald man. He was just recently in The Menu
Schindler's
as the
List.
as the lead chef. He's in Schindler's List, Harry Potter, Skyfall. He's you know him.
Yeah.
So there's supposedly awards coming for him in this role. I got to
So
work.
it's apologies. It's Rafe Fiennes.
Rafe Fiennes. Okay,
Yeah.
go
So you were
figure
right.
from the word Ralph. But
Yeah.
yeah, so Rafe Fiennes. This is all right. So we recently had a movie called The Two Popes, which was Anthony Hopkins and somebody else, which got nominated for some Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a story of in the Catholic faith, when a new pope needs to be chosen, all of the cardinals or bishops, all the cardinals get, I think cardinals, all the cardinals get sequestered into Vatican City, into the Sistine Chapel, and they all have to come up with who is going to be the next pope of them, and they have to get a certain threshold, 33 votes out of the 120 people or something, and they don't know who each other's voting for. They all write it down and go dump it into a thing, and every day at the end of the day they'll let black smoke out. This is all true. This is what's in real life. Black smoke if the pope still is undecided, white smoke once they've reached a consensus. So this is that process. So the Pope, this is in the first minute of the movie. The existing Pope dies unexpectedly, although he was like 80. What were you going to say?
No, I just did a deep gasp. But
okay, yeah.
Is it a true story? Sorry, before you continue.
So no, this is based on a book.
Oh, okay.
But there must be a lot in here that is true. So I recommended this to my whole dad's side of the family because they all went to Catholic high school. A lot of them were altar boys.
Same.
Yeah, they have all since pretty much left the faith because they're from Boston, and that's where, what's that story with Amy Adams, Rachel McAdams, the Post, not the Post.
Yeah.
The story about the cover up with the sexual abuse that happened.
It's like, I love that movie. But
yeah, it's a great movie. So they were close to that. They were living in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Fortunately, as far as I know, none of them had to go through something like that. But so they're, seemingly my dad's side of the family is all very angry with their church for allowing that to go on, which of course everyone is and was, right? I mean, the Catholic Church, at least in the United States, hasn't really recovered since that. It lost a lot of spotlight. Thank you. Yeah, the Boston Globe, I think.
Yeah,
but,
Boston Globe.
Back to Conclave. So this is Ray Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow, Isabel Rossellini, and Ronnie Kramer. He's another small actor. But so you've got a pretty stacked cast, and it's mostly Ray Fiennes' movie. He is the dean, let's say. He's the manager that is putting this all on. And it's all about, and so the movie, and that's basically it. They're sequestered. A cool thing they do is they put wood over the glass windows so that people can't shine a laser to feel the vibrations to decode what they're saying inside.
Oh my God.
It's that intense. And what the movie is trying to convey is this religion, at least the Catholic religion, is just like, it's like these are all human beings. Like what they're going through, but they're wearing the robes, so they call each other their eminency and stuff. But when you boil it down, they're just humans. So there is infighting, there's backstabbing, there's scandal. Like, oh, you had a child out of wedlock 30 years ago, or did you misappropriate some funds that your church, should have spent here and you said was here? So they're all sniping at each other. The Latin-speaking faction, the Italian original popes want to bring the church back to the old days, and Stanley Tucci wants to allow gays and everyone else because that is what God would want. So, they're like fighting and pulling all against. Yeah, right. They're all fighting and pulling against each other and they have to like strategize because you all go in and vote, and let's say I get 7 votes, you get 12, someone else gets 15. Do we then vote to the guy that has the majority already, even though I think you'd be the better pope? But we vote for him because he's more progressive than the real conservative. You know what I'm saying?
That's actually kind of how our government system is in Canada.
Exactly.
We have a lot of different parties, and it's like, okay, do we vote for this guy but we know this guy's going to win, or do we? It's yeah. And the U.S. of course has this. We don't have as many parties, but I think the point of the movie is to show us like. They're just humans, and all human systems do this same stuff. So, the standout here is Ray Fiennes. He is trying to hold it all together. People want him to be, because they can see, oh, wow, you're a great manager. You seem impartial. You don't have any scandal. But he's like, I'm not sure about my faith. I'm having a crisis of conscience. I'm not sure if I'm able to talk to God anymore. Don't vote for me. Don't waste your votes on me. And then as the movie unfolds, more and more things start to pop up. And there's this one Mexican bishop who has been a secret bishop from Kabul, Afghanistan. And that's why he was secret. He couldn't be announced officially, or else he would probably get targeted in Afghanistan. He comes in and kind of upsets the whole thing. And they're like, well, he was official, so we have to consider him. And this is a dry, like calm drama. It's rated PG.
So it's not even PG-13. So there's no swearing. But it's political intrigue. It's intense. And when I polled it for CinemaScore, I had several people get up and leave in a huff and say, F this movie. This is bullshit. They got mad. There's a turn kind of at the end, or more revelations are uncovered at the end. And where I live in the conservative South of the United States, a few audience members really seemed upset with where it went. But to me, I'm like, oh, that's risky. That's cool.
Yeah.
You're taking a chance. The people that maybe need to see this are seeing it. It was mostly an older crowd. So definitely recommend it to everyone. If you're in the mood for a talkie, there is a little bit of action, but not too much. But it's great. It's awesome.
Yeah, like I loved the Two Popes kind of. Like it was
Me too.
for for what it was, and it's just people talking. So I don't mind that every once in a while. And I do want to see this because like I was raised Roman Catholic, and everything you said about the Pope or what everything and the Vatican, I know all that. Like it's so
yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it's daring. Yeah. Like I love it. I love the message. I love the ending.
What is Rossellini's role in this? Because women are really not.
Great question. She's in charge of kind of all the nuns. The nuns are there to help serve food, clean up, do the womanly duties of handling these hundreds of bishops that are there. So I know it really is. She's head of it, but she gets a great speech where she has to say something like, I know I'm a sister, and we're supposed to keep our mouths shut, but I have to say this, this, and this. So she gets like one really, really good scene to chew on.
Okay.
And of course I was like, oh yeah, I had to look her up because I'm like, I know that face. Who is she?
Yeah.
Stanley Tucci's a lot of fun in here. And standout is Ray Fiennes. He just kicks ass. So when he comes around, this is Conclave. Make sure you see it. You can watch it with any family member. And I give it 4 out of 5 stars. It's great.
Nice. Okay. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
Huh. When do you got to head out? Because I know you want to see that movie.
Oh, no, I'm good. It's at 9:45, so I got time.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. So I'm going to talk about Don't Move. This movie is currently on Netflix. And I was so interested in you telling me about Conclave that I did not pull it up. But it's honestly go into it knowing that it is just a little Netflix movie.
Yeah, I mean, do you need me to banter while you pull it up? Because I could tell you what I've heard about the movie.
It's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So I heard this is about a woman running from somebody in the woods. She's been given some type of date rape, barbiturate, Rufinol, to where she can tell it's like slowly kicking in or something. Mm-hmm. And so she knows she's like going to soon lose her motor functions or something, be able to yell or whatever. Is that right?
Yeah. So, I mean, essentially the beginning of the movie is she's standing at the edge of this cliff and she kind of wants to end her life, which is an interesting, for someone who wants to end their life and then, 10 minutes later she's fighting for her life, right? So it's an interesting, allegory, or what am I trying to say? Like, this person wanted to die. Well, why is she trying to fight for her life now?
Yeah. But no, you want it to be on your own terms,
Yeah. And so then this guy kind of just pops up on this cliff, which, he must have followed her in. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to try to stop you. Like, but let's talk about this, right? And they talk about it, and he gets down and so they walk out of the woods together, and as soon as she gets to her car, he knocks her out and ties her up and puts her in the back of his car.
Yeah.
And then she wakes up and somehow gets free. And they have a moment where he tells her, like, that's you're really not free because I've injected you with this paralytic or paralyzing agent that you will eventually lose your motor function. It's not you'll be able to do is see and breathe and hear and all that. You won't be able to talk, and so she starts running, and it's a story about her just trying to get away, and it's just not good enough or memorable enough for me to recommend to anyone, I gave it 2 stars. The lead male actor, he's supposed to be kind of this. His name is Finn Whitrock. He's supposed to be this kind of over the top, almost like a Jared Leto like villain, or like Jerry O'Connell or Brendan Fraser or someone could have done this better. But he's like the every guy, but also like a little crazy. You like kind of find out, and he's just not good enough to carry this movie or to be interesting enough or anything. And yeah, and she was pretty good. Her name's Kelsey Asbil.
Yeah, I want to say I don't recognize the names of any of these actors.
She's actually really good, but most people will know her from Yellowstone. She plays like one of the leads in Yellowstone, and she's really pretty. My dad was like, "Oh, I watched this movie last night with this girl from Yellowstone," and I'm like, "That was her?" Because she has her hair really short in this movie, and she plays a Native American character in Yellowstone,
and she also plays a Native American character in Wind River.
Okay. I didn't even look her up.
She's the one that gets killed. It's like she's the one who's like, or maybe she get killed, or she's on the run. It's kind of a similar role, actually.
Yeah.
I love Wind River, by the way.
And she's really good.
She pulls it off so she can carry at least this character.
Yeah, she's pretty good. But the movie just isn't good enough. The best part is there's a scene surrounding a cabin and a man who she tries to ask for help. And that's all I'll say because, if I said anything more. But yeah, I think this was good. I would be fine with seeing her again. But I don't know. We have had several movies like this year.
This sounds pretty familiar, yeah.
Like Cuckoo was kind of like this.
What's also the one of the girl
twice,
and also another one.
Yeah,
the girl that I'm not too crazy about. It kind of has a similar face as her. The Assistant.
The Assistant.
Yes, The Assistant.
I didn't see that one.
No, but the other one where she's in Australia. She's
the Royal Hotel.
Yes,
Julia Garner.
So Julia Garner in The Assistant plays a character where she's surrounded by a Harvey Weinstein type person. In the Royal Hotel,
right,
there's a couple of guys that are trying to break into her room to assault her. This is a similar story. Back to what you just said.
Yeah. So I was I'm like, we've seen this before, and I can give you if anybody is like sees this and likes it, hit me up because I can give you 10 movies very, very similar that I like better. Even like The Nightingale, like this is kind of similar to that.
Man, there's a good movie.
It's just this one just didn't do anything new. Like obviously the hook is that she's going to be paralyzed at some point, which is something, but it happens very quick. And yeah, anyways, it's short, but yeah.
So it has a 2.6 on Letterboxd, which isn't great. Anything below a 3 isn't that good. No, and then all the people I follow that have seen this were 2, 2.5. There's Same. 1, 3.5. So
yeah.
All right. Well,
I thought this was going to be for me, and usually this kind of movie would be, but it just no. I love to see a girl kick ass or whatever. This was kind of you ask me in 6 months, and I'll try to remember this movie as hard as I can.
Yeah, I mean another one.
Title like Don't Move.
Another one I just thought of, the director of The Substance, her first movie was called Revenge, which was awesome and kind of similar to this.
Very similar. And
so you're right, there's lots of movies.
Yeah, you have to do something different besides having that one hook, because that hook gets people into the movie, maybe, but does it really get you a good movie? No.
Does it keep keep your interest?
Yeah. So yeah, you're gonna tell me I've seen It's What's Inside, and I flickfest it. I talked about it like 2 weeks ago now, like when it first dropped on Netflix, and I really, really enjoyed this. All I've heard from Ant, he texted me and said it was like pretty good, and that that kind of made me angry because I was like pretty good. I'm like, is that all I'm gonna get? So I didn't even respond to you.
Damn.
Like, pretty. I didn't. I was like, "Okay, cool, man. Like, pretty good."
Oh, you knew we'd talk on here.
Exactly, and I knew that too. But I wasn't really saying "fuck you." But
Yeah, so this movie we talked about 2 weeks ago. I had not just you, but a good friend of mine, Nick, that occasionally listens to this. I ran into him at a football event or watching football the other day, and he was like, "Dude, this is one of my favorite movies. I love this." And he watches lots of movies on Plex, so
Okay.
he's like, "You need to see this ASAP and let me know what you think."
So I hope you weren't too high on it then.
No, I wasn't too high. This is
Okay.
really good. This is great.
Okay.
Excellent even.
Yay.
And it's maybe not like perfect, but it's damn good. It's damn good. The premise is fire. The premise is like great premise. My only like knocks are I think you can do more with this premise, and maybe they will. So I guess a mild spoiler. I want to tell the listening audience what the movie's about. So if you want to go in cold, which is the way you should go in, because I didn't know anything about this. I had heard it was like a whodunit, which it's not really.
That's what I know. You kept saying that, and I said, "Well, kind of."
Yeah.
It is, and I did explain it a little bit on the podcast when I reviewed it. I basically told them about the machine and what.
Okay,
it was.
yeah, that's all I want to say then too.
Okay, because I think if you read the description anywhere, so anyways, I'll let you just do that.
Yeah, so the description says a pre-wedding party descends into an existential nightmare when an estranged friend shows up with a mysterious suitcase.
Right. Okay.
And so that is what happens. But what's cool about this movie is the directorial flourishes and style. We see stuff in flashback that is done creatively. Color is used in a fun way. And I didn't recognize this stuff right off the rip. I read about the movie. I watched some YouTube videos, explainers. So just as an example, a character can be shown with like a red filter on. And that means we're seeing them in a certain other mode. I don't want to say exactly what that, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
And we see that for all the characters except one, maybe, and that's for a reason.
Yeah.
So for this being a directorial debut, it's incredible. And the premise, so this is like bodies.
Yeah, I thought of that one.
Like in a way. It's very like Gen Z feel, with influencer. Like there's an influencer, and there's
like Don't Blink vibes that which it isn't, but just kind of the Gen Z kind of
Yeah, this has a Gen Z flavor, which is cool, like a really cool Gen Z flavor. So this was the most expensive movie acquired from Sundance. Netflix bought it for $17 million.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and it must have only cost maybe one or two to make,
Yeah.
Maybe a little more. It's hard for me to judge, but
yeah,
it's really cool. It's really, really cool. I haven't heard anyone, I know my dad's watched it, and I asked his opinion. Another friend of mine, I asked him, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, that was kind of cool. You should check it out." I didn't recognize a single actor, which was for its benefit.
Yeah.
They needed to pick 8 distinct looking people, meaning they all needed to look differently from each other. And that you could tell that the director or casting did that on purpose. Because if you pick 2 guys, like if me and you were in the movie, we look too close enough, maybe. Yeah, I'd have to shave or something, right?
Right.
Because there's a lot of mixing of who's who. And so you need really individual people. So just that decision could have been wrong.
So either they do it like they did with nobodies and make them really look differently, or they pay $100 million and pay 8 really well-known actors, so we know, okay, that's Brad Pitt, that's So, and they went the other route, which I think all these people are good. So
I do too. They're all it's really well acted. None of the lines landed. None of them where I was like, oh, that's a bad line reading.
No,
and one character, the way it ends is really fun too. I did not see the ending coming at all. Of course, I should have expected it. I didn't, but I'm not that.
To me, there's 2 things I didn't expect. There's and I didn't even. It's the part where it's like, oh, I didn't even think what would happen if this happened, and then that's what becomes the conundrum. And then then there's another thing that on top of that at the end, you're like, holy shit, okay. So yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, really, really, really cool. Just cool movie, creative. This is the kind of movie that just comes from someone with a good idea and follow through. If this had come up through the studio system, it would have been just destroyed. Because this producer would have said, oh, what if you do this? This producer would have said that, you know, like he would have gotten studio notes. But this is something where someone's like, I have a vision, I have an idea, let's make it. And it's really cool. It's really, really cool. It's called It's What's Inside, and it's available for no extra cost on Netflix. I hope they continue, follow up, do something else.
That's what I mean. All it could be is like we just see the suitcase left somewhere, right? And like, you know, what could happen. Or I have to say, and this is no dig against you, but that was maybe the worst review of a movie you've ever given, because it's so hard to talk about. And I'm not actually saying your review was bad.
Yeah.
I'm saying you kept saying it's cool, and I'm like, that's what I kept saying, because this movie is fucking cool. And
and I don't want to give anything away.
Exactly. It's so hard.
Like, it's really important to go into it not knowing much, you know. And so, like I did say, that it uses light.
We were talking about the light and everything.
Yeah, lighting is used. Yeah. And like example for flashbacks. So we got to do some flashbacks where we see certain stuff. In a big budget movie, they would film those flashbacks. But here they use like almost comic book, like it's like a picture, but it's like animated. It's like, you know, it's like me and you at a party, and they're like, this and this happened when Ant and Mitch were at a party 2 years ago. And instead of us filming me and you at a party with people in a set, you know what I mean? Like, so it's a good use of budget, really good use of budget. And I don't think that hurt the movie at all. It enhances it, gives it like this cool, like unique new age flavor. So it's great. It's really good.
So the one I got to ask you now that you've seen it, I was like, just confirm that it's okay to be confused by this movie, because it can get confusing. I was lost sometimes, not necessarily on what was going on, but on the thing that we can't really give away.
Completely. You know? Completely. So I paused the movie at least 3 or 4 times. I paused it 3 or 4 times. I was with a friend and I said, okay, did what we just see mean this, this, and this? And he said, no, that's not. No, it was this.
Nice.
And so no, I'm not like a genius movie watcher, and I don't always catch where things are going. I'm like happy to admit that. So no, and I went researching afterward to be like, okay, did I understand this right? Or, you know, the movie ends and I'm like, wait, did we wrap up on what that character did?
It's definitely all over the place. Like, it's not all over the place. That's just the style of the movie, and they do a really good job using what they can, and like you said, with the little flourishes and shooting techniques. But,
and again, like if this was produced by Universal would have done test screenings and been like, hey, 6 of the audience members are confused by this. You got to change this, right? But like, it's fine. Like, I'm fine leaving a movie that I'm not smart enough to get. I hate when I leave a movie where it's like, oh, the movie thought I was stupid.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, we've said that on here before. That's what I said in
my review like a few weeks ago, is I think you're going to like this because you have to think.
Yep. I give it 4 stars. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's what I gave it to. I loved it. So, and I just quickly want to talk about this movie from 2006.
Oh, I thought this was new.
No, it's called Behind the Mask. Behind the Mask. What? Yeah, Leslie Vernon. Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon. And so this is a 2006 mockumentary black comedy slasher film. And essentially, we live in this world where, in this movie, where Jason, Michael, Freddy, they are all actual serial killers that like have lived, and the movies the movies are not movies. This is a world where all of that stuff happened. Like Michael Myers was actually killed people and stuff, right? So this girl and her news team, they get like the scoop on the next up and coming serial killer. So
that's going to be that's going to be from a movie, or
no? Like, so serial killers are real in this movie. Like, okay. Michael Myers,
like Jason,
like real,
and
there haven't, apparently in this world there haven't really been any in the last little while. Like, everyone, but like how like true crime is a thing with the podcasts today. In this, it's like true crime is like these insane serial killers and stuff who. And this movie goes like really deep in explaining why, like they, you know, so essentially, what I'll say is this news crew, they get the heads up on who the next like big Michael or Jason is going to be, and it's going to be Leslie Vernon, this guy, and he's just like this unassuming man. He's the actor who plays him, Nathan Basil, really great. This movie is very comedic, very funny at times. This documentary crew is just following him around as he plans for his big opening night of killing like a bunch of teenagers, and it's like
So
Cabin
almost
in the
like the
Woods,
purge,
kind of.
almost like the purge. People plan for this night.
Well, yes and no. Like he's like nobody else knows he's planning for this night. He's just like it's kind of like he's like, okay, I want to be a serial killer, so I'm gonna do like what Jason does, but he is planning out the movie or what would happen in his movie. So it's really hard to explain, but it's like I'm hoping that
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like the lead, I want her to go into the barn, and then she'll see these people dead because I'll have killed them by now and stuff. It's really great. It's better than I thought it was going to be. I'm like 3.5 stars on this, and it's pretty widely available to stream. So I think if you're like a comedic, horror, this is one maybe for Halloween night.
How'd you hear about it?
I've had it on my watch list for a long time.
Okay.
For me in Canada, it was on AMC Plus, but I think I tried, and then in the States, it is Behind the Mask.
It looks like it's on Amazon here.
Yeah, so it's
as a disc maybe. Ooh,
okay. So it's only AMC Plus. Sorry, I was thinking of something else then. But you can also get the AMC Plus through Apple TV, like as the add-on.
Yeah, I see that. Amazon, Apple TV, or YouTube, you can get it.
Yeah, or it's $3.99 on Apple TV or Amazon, but it's really good. I think I gave it. I would have given it 4 stars, but the end kind of devolves into stuff we've seen in a million other movies. There is a Robert Englund plays a really great role in this. Robert Englund, who is
he's a horror icon,
Freddy
Wishmaster, right?
Yeah, he played Freddy Krueger in the first 5 or 6, I think. Like that. And then Scott Wilson's also in this, who I love. He's passed on now. And Zelda Rubinstein, this is her last movie role. She played the smaller lady in Poltergeist. Yes, and
child, come to the light, child.
And at first, I thought she was just going to be this, one-off character, and she's a librarian, and no, she's got a whole little thing, and it's fun. So definitely check this one out. It'll make any horror fan happy.
So before we move on from this, we were talking at the beginning of this episode about parody movies.
This is kind of exactly what I was thinking. That was the word mockumentary is what I was thinking of.
Okay.
Because, or mockumentary or no. But this is kind of what I meant.
Yeah.
You're in on the joke.
Yes. Okay. Oh, cool. This is a cool movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. What was I going to mention briefly?
What's coming up? Because you're going to see Angora.
Oh no, Your Monster.
Your Monster. Is it good?
It's okay. I think it's
in it?
So
is it Daisy Ridley?
No, Melissa Barrera.
Right.
The Melissa Barrera. This is like a movie where it's pretty funny. It got a lot of laughs out of me. This is like a romantic comedy. It's basically about anger. But this is a movie for women, in my opinion. More women might like this than men. My audience was laughing quite a bit, and it got several laughs out of me. Woman's going through a bad breakup, and she's reconciling with that, dealing with it. Should she be mad at him? He left her while she was like going through cancer treatment, so it's pretty messed up. That's in the first like 5 minutes. I went to see it just because of Melissa Barrera. I think she's like scorchingly hot, so I'll see anything that she's in.
She was in the last 2 Scream movies.
She was in the last 2 Scream movies. We also saw her in Abigail earlier this year. She was in the Heights. I saw her in Carmen with Paul Mescal. I thought one other thing, but maybe not. So yeah, she's a really cool, interesting actress, and she's good in here. She's really good, and like she not only is beautiful, but she seems to have comedic chops and comedic timing. So
cool. Okay.
If it comes across your streaming feed, Your Monster is a decent watch with like you and your spouse or a date. It's right. Fine. I give it like 3 out of 5. It's a decent, fun time. Nice directorial debut by Caroline Lindy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, man.
I remember the word. I remember the word now. Satire is the word I was like thinking of. You know,
I could have helped you get there. Maybe
that's I thought it started with an F, but like that's what we get now. We get satires like you know, Birdman or
The Apprentice.
Right. You know, well, no, see, that's not a satire.
Yeah, that's not really. Well,
that's a true story.
But it is satiring him in a way where, well, yeah, maybe that's a bad example. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Like lampoon, spoof, send up. Like these are the words, and I swear, if somebody is listening and they can think of the word that I'm trying to think of with that starts with the letter F. Is it farce or like farcical?
Yeah, farcical. Maybe. Yeah, that could work.
Well, I don't know. Anyways, we've gone on too long about this.
Yeah, let's wrap up.
It's pissing me off now. What are you going to see this weekend?
All right, so I'm going to see Anora on Friday as soon as possible. That is the Sean Baker movie, the director of Florida Project and what was the one about trans he did in Miami?
Oh, Tangerine.
Tangerine, Florida Project, and Red Rocket? Was that him too? Did you see Red Rocket? You need to if you haven't.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I just don't know. Yeah, I think it's him.
Yeah, look up Sean Baker. So, Anora comes out in select cities this weekend, including Atlanta, which Atlanta isn't New York or LA, so it might be near you. The movie Here with Tom Hanks, which is Robert Zemeckis' new movie. Zemeckis hasn't put out a good movie in a while, unfortunately.
This is getting very bad early reviews.
I know, and of course, so he's the director of Back to the Future and Polar Express and a whole.
And this reunites all 3 of them: Robin Wright, Tom Hanks, and Zemeckis from Forrest Gump. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, you know, the reunion of Forrest Gump doesn't work." So
we have Here with Hanks. We've got Absolution, another Liam Neeson action flick. So if you like his recent work, it's rated R. It might be good, so I'll see it.
Okay.
And that's it. I think those 3. And then some dumb Hat Pig or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
What was it called? That was it, right? The kids movie.
Yeah, I remember you said that. Hit Pig. There will be a documentary about John Williams dropping on Disney Plus.
Oh,
on November
yeah.
1st. I just listened to the Smartlist podcast episode with John Williams and them, and it's like listening to, you know, the Grandmaster talk, and it's great. And Is he the one with 14 nominations? Or is that Hans Zimmer? Either him, like one of them as a composer has like 14 wins or nominations for. I think he has 14 wins.
14 wins,
Oscars does John
He's done like, you know, everything. Batman, Superman, Jaws. Everything. Every good like movie soundtrack, Star Wars, they're all in there. He composed them all.
Yeah, he has 54 Academy Award nominations, and he's won 5.
Okay.
And the 5 he won were Fiddler on the Roof, Jaws, Star Wars, E.T., and Schindler's List. I mean, but this man also did Indiana Jones and Jurassic Park, two of the most
Jurassic
well
Park,
known. Like he's incredible.
Yeah, everyone knows John Williams.
Today, Hans.
I was gonna scratch my lip with the mic.
Oh my God! Don't do that. Hans Zimmer, he recorded the score for Muppets Take Treasure Island. So, I just, you know, do with that information what you will. I just found.
And then by next episode, we'll have the conclusion on Mitch's 31 movies of October.
Yeah.
And I will have seen the one I was assigned, Labyrinth.
Will you
get to watching?
No, you won't.
I'm gonna try.
You're getting mad at me for not watching my 31 movies, and you're like, maybe I'll watch The Labyrinth. I know.
New Order.
New Order, yes.
But you did watch Climax, so
I did watch Climax.
Yeah.
Rustomeyer. Who's Rustomeyer? I think that is. I know it's Bruce.
Yeah,
but
his comment is Forrest Gump. Woof.
I'm a big Forrest Gump fan.
So I am still, but
Yeah.
Rustomeyer is not alone. Like Forrest Gump has gone through a nosedive. People hate it these days, and it's been interesting to watch because, of course, when it came out, it was like, oh my god, what a revelation. But people don't like it anymore.
No, and I think there's definitely things that haven't aged that well, but especially with the Robin Wright character and like Tom Hanks playing definitely someone who is obviously developmentally just delayed,
disabled,
but yeah, so I didn't really like it from the beginning. It's like my sister's favorite movie, so she won't.
Right? See, there you go. It's like it has a really weird dynamic of people that like. That's what's fun about movies is they get they get recategorized,
Exactly. And Rustomeyer also said a good documentary is soundtrack to a coup d'etat. Coup d'etat.
Soundtrack to a coup. Okay.
Coup d'etat.
I think it's coup d'etat, right?
Oh yeah, thank you. Coup d'etat. I've heard that word before.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm dumb. Anyways, thank you everyone for listening, being on live, watching us on YouTube, listening in your ears while you work or whatever you do. We really appreciate it. You can follow us. I always put the link tree down below, which I didn't do last episode, but Ant did the last episode.
I was like, wait, did I?
You did. I didn't.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
But yeah, so follow us. We're everywhere at The Hollywood Persona. We are not on Twitter. I was on Twitter, and I removed myself after some of the most recent Elon Musk stuff. I was like,
I'm like so disappointed with his change because like I'm a huge space person and SpaceX is doing amazing things, but man, he says a lot of really, really stupid and dangerous stuff. So it's like,
I just think I don't know what happened to it.
I don't know what happened to him either, right? Like
it's almost like when you get radicalized or something, or people don't like you for one thing, so you're like, okay, I'll just like let everyone hate me or something. It's just so weird. I don't know. But everyone get out there and vote, because the next time we record, we will probably know who your new president will be. I keep forgetting that Biden is still your president.
I know, it's so funny. He's such a lame duck.
It's so weird. Yeah, like he went out and voted the other day, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's still your president.
Right.
But anyways, I'll hit the outro. Everyone have a good Halloween. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, y'all.
Hit play.
Little shithead.
All right.
Hey, wait, before you go.
Yeah.